Hey friends, and welcome to the Girl Means Business podcast. I'm your host, Kendra Swalls, a photographer and educator on a mission to help you find your passion, power, and purpose through entrepreneurship. So let's jump right into today's episode because this girl means business. Hey guys, and welcome to the Girl Means Business podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. We have a wonderful, amazing episode planned for you today. Now, if you're listening to this live, I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. I am probably going to be really emotional today. At the time that this episode goes out, it is back to school day for my kiddos, and my youngest one is starting kindergarten. So I'm sure there will be lots of tears, mostly on my part. She is so ready to go. It's not even funny. It's going to be me, the one driving away with no kids in my car, feeling a little sad, but I'm sure I'll get over that quickly and realize that I now have my days to get so much done. And I'm so excited about that. But it's definitely bittersweet. And I'm sure any of you mamas out there who have sent your youngest one off to school understand the feeling. And if you're one of the mamas out there listening who has little ones still at home with you, just know that it gets easier. And then they go to school and it gets a whole lot easier. But it also has a different level of difficulty added as well. All right, guys, I am super excited to introduce you to our guest this week, Sue B. Zimmerman. I am extra excited, not only because I just think she's an incredible, incredible woman. She is now my business coach. And so she and I'll be working very closely together this fall to grow the Girl Means Business brand. And I am so excited about that. It's one of the things I'm really looking forward to, working with her and her team, especially in this phase of time when my kids are in school and I will have more time to focus on my business. Sue B. Zimmerman is known as the Instagram expert and rightly holds that title. She's the creator of the most comprehensive online Instagram course, Ready, Set, Grow, which I am enrolled in. It's a fabulous program for anyone who is new to Instagram, or even if you've been using it for a while for your business, but you just want to take it up to the next notch. Over the past 8 years, she's helped business owners turn Instagram into their most effective marketing platform. She's been featured on Netflix, spoken on prominent stages all over the world, and helped thousands of people exceed their bottom lines with her courses and Instagram coaching. Sue B lives and breathes her belief that you are never too old and it's never too late to make an impact on Instagram. And she lives that every day. It's incredible. Follow her on Instagram. Check out her Instagram stories. So a little behind the scenes of how I was introduced to Sue. Several episodes ago, I did an interview with my good friend, Katie Brinkley, and Katie and I met on Clubhouse. And so as soon as we were both on Clubhouse together and started going into rooms together, I noticed that she was doing these rooms with this Sue B. So I would hop in and Sue would be there giving advice and feedback and kind of doing Instagram audits. And so I went in and Katie pulled me up on stage, and I remember listening to her give feedback to me the first time. And it was very to the point. She is very blunt. She will tell you how it is. She does not sugarcoat anything. And I was immediately like, nope, do not like this person. I don't need to hear this. I am good. I'm walking away. But then I really started thinking about what she had said and the advice she had given. And it really was good advice. When I took down my wall of, I don't want to hear the negative, I just want you to compliment me, I was able to really take in what she was saying. I made the changes in my Instagram bio. And I went back into one of her rooms later on, and she was doing content audits. And so she was looking at your last piece of content on social media, on Instagram, and giving you feedback. And she was like, oh, your post is great. I love it. She gave me a few little pieces of advice, but it was a much, better experience. And I thought, okay, this lady really knows what she's talking about. Katie has worked with her and adores her. And the more I've gotten to know Sue, the more we've been in the same spaces, and we've had conversations in DMs and now in Zoom and on the phone. I just think that she has this really amazing heart around helping women build a business using Instagram. And while she's known as the Instagram expert, she is also just a really savvy businesswoman. And she has so much knowledge and so much information to share. And I just cannot say enough good things about her. So I will stop rambling on about how much I adore this lady, and I will get to our conversation today. Here is my chat with Sue B, the Instagram expert. Oh my goodness, guys, we are here with Sue B, the Instagram expert. I am So honored to have you here and so excited to chat with you. Welcome to the Girl Means Business podcast. How are you today?
This girl means business. I'm good.
Good. Well, I am so excited to chat with you today. All things Instagram. Obviously, that is your area of expertise. I mentioned when I did the big intro earlier that I found you on Clubhouse, and I just total honesty here. The first time I heard you talk in Clubhouse, I was like, "Whoa, who is this person?" Because you were like just telling it like it is, no BS, no filter. And I was a little taken back, but then I was like, I kind of love this woman for this. So when I've started following you, I've listened to you, I have purchased your programs, I've done all the things, I am a fan, and I'm just super excited to be here to chat with you. But for those of you that don't know Subi, can you give us a quick little story about your journey into becoming the Instagram queen that you are?
Yeah. So I discovered the power of Instagram from my retail shop that I had here in Massachusetts on Cape Cod. And I had that shop for about 8 years. And like everybody else, I was marketing my business using all the things, Twitter, Foursquare. I was the mayor of Foursquare at the Starbucks. And, I tried everything, sandwich board, you name it. And then I discovered Instagram from my daughters. We were on vacation and on their phone. They weren't looking at me. They weren't talking on their phone. And I'm like, Lilac, here, what are you guys doing? You're not even looking at me. They're like, Mom, we're on Instagram. Don't get on it because then you're going to start teaching it. And that's all I needed to hear. Don't get on it. And I got on it. I started using it. I started strategically using it, studied everything relentlessly, read blog posts. And this was 9 years ago when it was just a photo app. But I understood the geotags and the hashtags. And because I did it intentionally, I had people coming into my store saying, I want to buy this anchor bracelet. I want to buy this beach bag. I'm like, wait, did you just see that on Instagram? They're like, yeah. And then they tapped the geotag that took them into maps that brought them to my store because it's down this long, windy road in this golf course, community. And the rest is history. I'm like, okay, if I can do it, anyone can do it. I gotta teach other business owners how to do this. And so I got myself to a conference in California about online marketing. I knew nothing about it. And I decided to stop selling my wares and schlepping my shit everywhere and started wanting to teach. And so I'm like, I need an online business. And my husband's like, what is this, a Ponzi scheme? I'm like, no, I'm going to teach the world how to use Instagram and it's going to be beautiful. And my CEO, Morgan, who's my ride or die by my side, what used to be my manager at my store, she knows all about systems, processes, automation. She has a degree in that and she has a master's. And I'm like, Morgan, we need a blog. We need a blog. We need a website. We need automation. She's like, no problem, Sue, but we'll make that happen. And we did. We figured out how to deliver information that people needed and wanted. And we did a webinar. We did our first launch. We had a 33% conversion. There was only like 13 people there. Or no, there's 30 people there. It was like, we had a great conversion, but we had 30 people on the webinar. Anyway, we just kept going, kept doing. I got discovered by many. I spoke at a lot of free events, a lot of colleges and universities in the Boston area. And people said, love her energy, love how she teaches. And then one thing led to another. I got on a podcast interview. It was Michael Stelzner's. He's like, we need you on stage. Yeah. We want you on stage at Social Media Marketing World. That was 7 years ago. And I just did my 7th interview on his podcast, all about Instagram marketing, because Instagram's constantly changing and growing, keeping me busy. So much to talk about, so much to learn. And I love it. I love helping other people understand when they step into their true calling, their authority, they can create a magical, beautiful business using Instagram as a marketing tool.
I love that.
Yeah.
One of the things that you mentioned was like your energy. That's one of the things that drew me to you was just the energy and the vibe. And I've always been trying to figure out like, what does it remind me of? And this is going to sound really funny, but I was watching old episodes of Friends the other day, and there's the episode where Phoebe and Rachel go running, and Phoebe's running like just like she did as a kid. And I was like, that's the energy I feel like I get from you, is that it's just that sort of like, it's this free, fun, exciting, like a little bit crazy, a little bit off the cuff, but also like really, really amazing vibe. And I can see how that mixed with your willingness to learn a new platform and dive into it could definitely lead to success.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like
that and Marvelous Miss Maisel. Have you watched that?
Oh, yes. Yes, definitely. Oh my gosh. Yes, I can see that for sure.
Because let me just tell all the listeners, obsessed with her wardrobe. And I have similar style when I'm rocking my Chanel and my boutique clothes on stage. And I have all the hats for all the things.
I love it. That's amazing. Yeah. So I'm curious, what is it about Instagram? Because there's so many platforms, and you mentioned that you've done like all the other things. So what is it about Instagram that you feel like is so powerful as opposed to all the other things out there?
Well, for me, my brain thinks visually and observes every detail of everything. Like it's wired for my brain. Like I notice every visual detail of anything, down to like what people's shoes and earrings and belt. And like I process that fast, as do most people. So when it was just a photo sharing app, it's like people process photos like 89% faster than text. And so that's my brain. And you can get a message across so much faster from looking than reading. And as Instagram has evolved and added what I call different neighborhoods, because I like the analogy that Instagram is a village and there's all these Subi neighborhoods, feed, stories, IGTV, live, and reels. And then they all converge at the DM. Like that's the place that you can hang out at the coffee shop. And so people can relate to this analogy. And if you understand that people are hanging out in different neighborhoods for different reasons or consuming content in different neighborhoods, there are different opportunities to have conversations, to connect deeper, to make an impact, to, broadcast or amplify what you do. And a lot of people feel like the engagement is down. And I think it's because there's just so many different places to create content. You need to meet them where they are and take them to where they want to go. And there's a beautiful way to do that very strategically. And we teach all of that inside of our signature course, Ready, Set, Grow, in a very systematic, step-by-step way. And we teach you how to use our system, which is called the CEC system, content, engagement, conversions. And, conversions can be signing up and subscribing to a podcast or subscribing to a YouTube channel or, subscribing to an email list or getting on a consulting call. It's not necessarily make money. It's build relationships and really connect deeper with your following. And when you do that very well, you get results. And so that's what we've learned along the way and in our entrepreneurial journey of teaching Instagram. And just to let all your listeners know, I've had 18 businesses. Instagram is the 18th. Teaching Instagram. Wow. So I am a real entrepreneur over here that understands how to lean in to the thing that brings me the most joy. And everyone listening should do the same. Because when you know exactly what makes your life joyful, it has more meaning, you have more impact, and you can make more money, more income. And so that's why I love Instagram.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
If you have been listening to the Girl Means Business podcast for any amount of time, then you know my love of email marketing runs deep. Not only is it a great way to generate new leads, but it's one of the most effective methods for nurturing warm leads and turning them into sales. Now, over the years, I've tested several email platforms, and my favorite by far is Flowdesk. Not only do they make email marketing simple and easy, even for the technically challenged, but they have everything you need to create stunning emails, capture leads, make sales, and automate the entire process, giving you time back in your busy day. And the cherry on top is you're only charged one flat fee no matter how many subscribers you have. So while other platforms will increase your price when you go over your pricing tier limit, Flowdesk has no price increases or hidden fees. If you're ready to give Flowdesk a try, click the link below in the show notes to save 50% off your first year. Let Flowdesk help you design emails people will love. Click the link below and check it out. I have a feeling you're going to love it just as much as I do. Yeah. And I'd say your analogy of the neighborhoods, I heard you talk about that on Clubhouse and then in your Ready, Set, Grow thing. And I was like, that's such a perfect analogy because it can be overwhelming to look at all the different features that Instagram offers and think, I don't know where to start. It's too much. But when you really look at it as like, okay, these are just pieces that help you bring people together. And the DM is definitely like the sweet spot, but that's where the real connections are made. I'm like, the whole saying of like, slide into my DMs, like that is really where people connect. And so like the comments are great, the likes are great, all of that. But when you can have a conversation with somebody, it's really incredible what can be done. So I know you kind of mentioned like, Instagram, it's evolved a lot, especially since even when you've started using it and teaching it. And recently they've kind of come out and said that they are wanting to be not necessarily known as a photo sharing app. There's so much more to them than that. And a lot of people are kind of freaking out about that. So, and especially since I come from sort of a photography background, photography community where, those static images were kind of the sweet spot. What do you say to people who are kind of getting nervous or unsure of these changes that Instagram has come out with?
Yeah, I've talked about this a lot. And I personally think that Instagram's been moving in this direction for a long time. It's no news to me. I've been teaching the power of video for the past 2 years. And my theory really is that what people want more than anything, and you kind of touched on it, is real, true, authentic relationships and to see the person and connect with the person. And you can't hide behind a video, but you can certainly hide behind a photo with a filter or using Facetune to get rid of whatever you want to get rid of. And I know that I can trust people that much faster when they are on video because I can hear the passion, enthusiasm, honesty in their voice, and I can see it. And so the more you can see and look into someone's eyes or connect deeper with someone, the more likely they are to continue on in wanting to be connected with you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I've said this too, like in my coaching groups and stuff, I've said, it happens all the time to me with the podcast. So someone will send me, like a little one sheet with someone's photo and their bio and all of their accolades, which is great. And I look at it, I'm like, okay, this person seems like somebody that'd be good for the podcast. But once we have this face-to-face, once we're in the Zoom call, once we're having conversations, that's where I'm like, oh my gosh, this person is so much different than what my own perceptions I put onto them based on the one photo I saw, which was probably photoshopped and done by a professional photographer. And so the video piece for me, I've seen for about, the last 2 years. And I've incorporated video even on my like photography website so people could get to know me better and things like that. And then of course with Reels now, I love Reels. They're so much fun to do, but
so
I get the fear behind it.
You were so good at it.
Thank you. It's helped me to feel way more confident in front of the camera than I ever thought I would be. For whatever reason, that little short snippet of video is it seems doable compared to like even the IGTVs or YouTube videos and things like that. But I definitely think that what you said is so true, that when you can actually see somebody, it's almost and hear their voice and you get like their accent, their inflections, their personality comes through. That's where those really strong connections come in. So I think that's incredible. I love that. Okay. So what do you think as far as Instagram? Because a lot of people are looking at it obviously for business and listening to this podcast. A lot of it's women who have businesses. Mm-hmm. And I hear a lot of people say like, I just don't feel like Instagram works for me. And my response to that is usually, well, are you working on Instagram? Are you putting in the work? But what are the things that you see people, like the mistakes you see people making that you kind of just want to like shake them and be like, no, do this instead? Like, what are some of the big ones?
There's a lot. So I could probably spend an hour talking about all the mistakes. So let's talk about 3. So the first one is they don't have their face as their avatar, a representation of their business. And no one really likes to do business with logos unless you're like Burberry or GoPro or Lexus or like a global brand. And so it's the face behind the business or brand, in my opinion, that matters more, especially for solopreneurs, entrepreneurs starting out. We want to connect with people. It's all part of what we just shared. That's number 1. Number 2 is you don't have SEO in your bio. And we have a guide that we'll share in the show notes that is all about SEO and optimizing your bio, and so many other great things are in this guide for all of you. But SEO is all about search engine optimization, and you get to show up. It's very much, Instagram is like a mini website. And when your username and your name field on Instagram are positioned strategically and you have the right keywords, you have the opportunity to show up when people are searching certain words. For example, when I needed to find someone to train my puppy, I'm getting a puppy in a couple of days. And today is July 16th, 2021. And I'm like, Instagram, hello, puppy trainer. And I found many, and I connected with this wonderful woman in Arkansas who has trained me twice virtually before the puppy has come home, because I need to be trained. And then I'm like, I don't remember doing any of this when I had my last dog, 16 and a half years. You know, he's been alive 16 and a half years. I'm like, holy crap, I'm going to not be sleeping much, but this is what I need to do and why. I found her on Instagram. When I flew out to LA to speak on stage at Schwarzkopf, which is a hair professional conference that I was the keynote at, I searched LA makeup artist because I'm like, I need a makeup artist who's coming to my hotel. And yep, I hired my makeup artist and she put my makeup on poolside. So you can find people if your account is set up for that search engine. That's number 2.
Okay.
And number 3, your content sucks.
This is why I love you. I love just the like blunt to the point, like, this is what I need in my life. I'm like, okay, tell it like it is. That's perfect.
Yeah. So, random content gets you random results. And if you don't know exactly what your audience wants and needs, you're wasting your time. And this is not the algorithm working against you. It's your content isn't relevant to your audience, right? So that is, and we teach so many ways to do this strategically in our Ready, Set, Grow program. And for those of you that are interested in resources, our YouTube channel, I have over 400. You don't need to watch Netflix. Just watch Subi on YouTube.
Yes, exactly. I love it. And I was writing that down. Random content gets you random results. That is like the best quote because it's so true. I think, and I hear a lot of people too, like you have to have a niche. You have to know exactly who you're talking to and what you're saying to them, because otherwise you're going to just be all over the place and you're trying to talk to everybody and you're really not appealing to anybody.
Right. You want to niche down till it hurts. Like the riches are in the niches. I kid you not.
Yes, I completely agree. Okay, so if you were to wake up tomorrow and realize you had to start over completely on Instagram, what would your focus be? Where would you start?
So if I had to start all over, I wish that my name was my literal name and not the Instagram expert, because I do have my name, Subi Zimmerman. We shut that account down because that was my personal account. So I think branding yourself is so important because people remember me, Subi Zimmerman, more than the Instagram expert. And it's a little pretentious and arrogant to have it be the Instagram expert. But 9 years ago, I had no idea what I was doing when I named it. I wanted to be the Instagram expert,
Right.
So that's what I would share.
Yeah.
That's what I would share today.
Okay. And as far as content goes, is there I know it it kind of evolves and changes. But would there be a focus you would have on like the type of content you're creating, or are there things that you would focus on there?
Now, that the movement of video, reels, IGTV, and stories and video, I just think will help you escalate your results. Because if you truly are an expert, an authority, an educator in your business, and you can speak to that eloquently and confidently on the cuff, like you said, one of the reasons you love listening to me is because I can just spew things out from any question. Like, obviously, I'm not looking at a list of questions that you're asking me, I'm thinking. Then you know who's walking the talk and telling the truth, as opposed to reading a teleprompter or regurgitating something they heard somewhere else. And so I think so much of the power is in the voice and the video.
Yeah, I agree. And that's one of the reasons I think I'm so drawn to Instagram stories too. Like, it's one of the first things when I log into the app, if I see somebody that I really like, if I see your face pop up in my Instagram stories, I'm clicking on that before I go through my feed, or even before I look at reels, because I want to see like, okay, what is Sue B up to today? What's she doing? What's she talking about? Where is she? Because you're all over the place sometimes. And it's that, you know, like I think is so powerful too, is that those relationship building pieces are what keep people coming back to you. And I just want to say, like, as far as like your stories go, I think that you do a really great job of showing who you are outside of what you do, like just you as a person, but also sharing, you know, the value that you give is amazing. I think that it's kind of this nice balance between both. And a lot of people I see starting out with Instagram is they feel like their stories need to always be, or their content always needs to be one type of thing, instead of trying to kind of mix it all up, which you do really well. So.
Thank you. Yeah. And to that point of what you just shared, I know the value of people kind of living vicariously through my backdrop, through my lifestyle, through my travel. And often they relate to the hydrangeas, the flowers on the Cape, or the buildings here in Boston, or when I travel. And it just makes them feel that much more intimately connected to me, my style, my values, my energy, whether I'm rollerblading or jumping on a trampoline. It's like, that's really me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. When I'm sitting here in the Texas heat and I see your photos of like on a sailboat in Cape Cod, or these beautiful flowers when all of mine are dying, I'm like, I just want to be with Sue B. Okay. So as we wrap it up, I want to ask you one kind of last fun question. So tell me something not Instagram related that you are excited about right now.
I'm getting a puppy.
Yay. What kind of puppy are you getting?
So I'm getting a little Cavapoo, and his name is Spivak, because my grandmother's maiden name was Spivak, and he's going to be little Spivy. And Gary Vaynerchuk cannot have him be his mascot.
Oh my gosh. Well, I cannot wait to see this little puppy all over your Instagram stories. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Well, Sue, thank you so much for doing this. I know you have a crazy busy schedule. So before we wrap up, tell everybody where they can find you and how to get in touch with you if they want to.
I love my action takers. I would love for everyone who smiled, laughed, learned something new today, come on over to Instagram at The Instagram Expert. I'm Sue B, and just let me know on my last post what was the biggest takeaway and why. And make sure to tag Kendra. What is your Instagram account, Kendra?
At Girl Means Business.
At Girl Means Business, because we mean business and we want you to take action. And I'll see you on the gram.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sue. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the conversation as much as I did. And as always, you can find any links or resources mentioned in today's show down in the show notes. And if we're not friends outside the podcast yet, then what are you waiting for? Come find me on Instagram at Girl Means Business. Send me a DM letting me know what you thought of today's episode or any of the past episodes you've listened to. You can also take a screenshot of today's episode and post it to your stories, tagging at Girl Means Business, and I'll give you a shout out on my page. I love connecting with you and hearing all about your business, and can't wait to get to know you more. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will meet you back here next week, same time, same place.